cameo. Did you find this through the original link that I did? Were you already aware of this? Did it have a thumbnail? So confused. From Facebook. You found it from Facebook. Amazing. Fantastic. Right, okay. Not original link. Right. Excellent. Hello from Instagram. Excellent, excellent. Right, I think this worked. Right, I had absolutely no idea. I've just been sitting here like, no, not got it at all. It seemed to be the most confusing thing ever to try and jump onto a live video that I'd scheduled. Dunno. Right, okay, that's excellent. This is actually working. Okay, if this works, guys, this is great. This is great. Right, okay, fantastic. Right, so the topic, if you saw it yesterday, I can't believe it's working. If you saw it yesterday, I put a little poll on the Instagram, whatever, not the Instagram, the YouTube thing, and I asked what people wanted to talk about of like 3 or 4 topics. And the one that got the highest, this is the topic we want to talk about, was infertility. So I'm kind of going to just run through my story of my experience with infertility, or our story. And then I thought we could kind of chat and get little bits from everybody else and talk about what everybody else's experience has been, because you hear a lot about infertility. Well, I say that you hear a lot about infertility. It's not something that people want to talk about a lot, but you kind of hear the absolute worst and the absolute best. But I think most people at some time, not everybody, but a good number of people at some time in their lives struggle in some way with infertility. And the reason that I want to talk about it is not from a perspective of, oh, you know, I mean, I've got 2 healthy children. I had 2 pregnancies with absolutely no complications whatsoever. But I did have a year of my life where I did think I was not going to be able to have another child. And that I just wasn't expecting that, because I fell pregnant by accident with Ella when I was 19. Well, 18. I had her when I was 19. And so you're just not expecting to then have a problem later in life. Conceiving, you're just not. Everybody is always hearing about people that fall pregnant by accident. And so when you come to try to get pregnant by purpose, on purpose, like by design, it's very difficult to imagine that that's not going to be able to happen. I know so many people who say that they're going to just wait until it works for them. They're going to basically plan their pregnancy, and I kind of just want to shake them and tell them that that's not always the case. That's not always going to happen that way. And although lots of people have healthy babies and not, you know, uncomplicated pregnancies all the time, every single day, there are a lot of people that struggle. And I think if you really, really want to have a family, you can't really plan it. And between that and the fact that people like to tell you they got pregnant straight away, I know other people who would tell you that, you know, oh, 1 try and we were pregnant. That's not a helpful thing to share with people, because that's probably not most people's experience. So anyway, my experience with infertility was not just not being able to get pregnant for many months, which is what happened, but there was actually a problem. Now, for those of you that have been following me for a really, really long time, I used to have I keep forgetting where the camera is on this phone because I never do this from my phone. I used to have a channel where I spoke all about kind of, it was called TTC, which is Trying to Conceive. It was a whole community. By the way, if you haven't actually already seen my previous Insta Live, we're outside Costa right now. I have no feasible way of doing this from home because our internet is so bad. So we're going to be doing it, I'm going to be calling it kind of like coffee morning or coffee chats, or in the car with coffee, something like that. Car in the coffee with Kyla, I don't know. So yeah, what was I saying? Terrible tangent. Can't stay on track. Should have made notes. I don't know. So we were trying for a long time to have a baby, Lee and I. Oh, TTC. Thank you for the little cue. And I started making videos on YouTube. I also had a baby blog called Miss Budget Baby. Now, I actually had a look at this blog yesterday just to give myself a little bit of to jog my memory of what it was like at that time. And I've forgotten how heartbreaking it was every month when I wasn't pregnant. I mean, I'm very obsessive by nature. And so if I want something, I just am not a patient person. But I just, I found it really, really difficult to accept that it wasn't happening. So after a few months, I started making these videos where I discovered a whole community of people who every month they weren't pregnant or they were trying to get pregnant, they were doing various things, and it was cathartic. They would kind of talk about trying to get pregnant. I'm just kind of being distracted by the comments as we go. But I have still got those videos. I don't know whether or not, I must have made them private at some point. But I did have a whole YouTube channel kind of dedicated to me, the leading up to trying to get pregnant. And I made a lot of friends on the internet who I still talk to today, some of whom fell pregnant and some of whom didn't. But it was a very, like baby center. If you've ever had a baby or if you've ever been pregnant, you'll know what baby center is. They still send me emails now on Milo's 6. In fact, they still send me emails about Ella and she's 12. But there's a whole community of people who, there's not really going to be anyone else in your life who is as interested and as supportive of your tiny little niggly things and constantly wanting to hope that you're pregnant as this community of women. There's just not. There's no one else out there that's going to understand. You are going to drive everybody else insane with your constant, well, I felt a little bit of something today, or my skin feels different, really irritating stuff. If I had to listen to someone talking about these things now, it would drive me up the wall. So I totally understand why no one else would want to listen to me. But I turned to this community and I was so into it that I started making these videos. So I started talking about month by month, like how I was feeling, every month when I wasn't pregnant, how I then felt, different things that we were going to be looking into kind of down the line. And I spoke in the blog. This was a very long time ago since I'd read my blog, and I wouldn't necessarily recommend reading it because it's got bugs all over it. Like there's certain pictures that are broken, you click on it and it takes you to a weird website. It's been hacked to death. Rocking a headband in my TTC videos. Yeah, I believe that was probably a thing. My hair was always all kinds of different lengths and I could never get it off my face. So yeah, I wouldn't necessarily recommend you go and read that blog because it's not that great, but it is there if you want to see it. And it is Miss Budget Baby at, I think it was .blogspot.com or .co.uk. So I had this blog and I was reading through it yesterday and I just thought, you really do. At one point in this, I actually said I was documenting it because you never remember how you really feel at that time. You never really remember what it was like to go through all of those emotions and those issues. Someone just walked past the car and I'm convinced he's being super dodgy. I think he was just super interested. He could have walked anywhere. Was so close to the car. He was like, what is this person doing? I look like I'm just sitting in my car and talking to nothingness. Mental. So yeah, you do kind of forget how you felt. So reading through this was enlightening to me, but also a little bit heartbreaking because I just forgot how bad it was. And it really wasn't that long. I know people that have been trying for years and years and years with absolutely nothing. And so I tried for a year and we found the problem quite quickly. But I was fully prepared to go through IVF and all the many fertility treatments that would have been on offer to me if we'd managed the full year. Now, what actually happened, because obviously I knew that in theory I was going to be able to get pregnant because I'd already conceived a child. And the thing, again, I had a baby when I was 19 and I'm very much everything happens for a reason kind of person. I'd been through so many days of tears thinking, if I hadn't kept that baby, because not everybody wanted me to keep that baby. There were plenty of people in my life that did not want me to keep the baby. And I knew, the way I saw it was all I wanted. I had no ambition in life. I didn't want anything at all, ever. There was never anything that I was like, this is what I'm going to do with my life. I had no drive to do anything. All I knew when I saw my future was that I wanted to have children at some point. And I'm not a maternal person. Anyone that knows me in real life will tell you that's kind of a hilarious statement, because I'm not super duper, I'm not Mother Earth kind of, that kind of person. I'm getting really distracted by the comments now. And Anyway, I knew that I wanted a baby one day, and the way I saw it was, what if I don't get another opportunity? And so, yeah, okay, I was very, very young. It probably wasn't ideal, but at 19, I had Ella, and I've never, ever, ever regretted it. I mean, I can't imagine people do regret having children ever. But I've never thought, it didn't ruin my life. And I thought that it might have, but it didn't ruin my life. And I've spoken about that before, in a little bit more detail. But at the point where Lee and I were trying to conceive, I really did think, this is it. Like, Ella was it. I had to meet Ella's dad, because obviously no longer with Ella's dad. Lee is not Ella's dad. I had to meet Ella's dad. I had to have Ella. You know, everything happens for a reason. And then later down the line, I met Lee, and because I'd had Ella, this was going to be his opportunity to have a family, because maybe he's not able to have children. This was my thought process. I had to try to make it okay in my mind, what was happening, because I really couldn't kind of be cool with it any other way. So anyway, a little bit down the line, probably like, I'm going to say 8-9 months in, we'd been to speak to someone, and they'd said, you have to wait a full year before they'll do anything, especially because of the age that we were at. You have to be trying for a year before they'll do any kind of test, unless you've got some kind of underlying thing that they're already aware of, which I didn't have. And I had conceived previously, so it wasn't really a big deal. Plus, because between us, we had a child, I believe that we wouldn't have had any NHS IVF treatment. Correct me if I'm wrong. Those of you following along that are during this process now, please tell me if that's not the case now. But I seem to remember that was a thing, which I thought was like incredibly unfair, because although Ella was mine, she wasn't actually Lee's, and Lee didn't have his own child. It made me feel awful. But at the time, that was the situation. So that was kind of what we were going to be looking at down the line, but it would have all been private health. So anyway, I don't exactly remember how this happened, but I know that between that visit and maybe a few weeks down the line, Lee found a lump. Now, you know, it's already horrendous enough because we're trying to conceive and we can't, but to then find a lump and think, oh my God, maybe it's something way worse than we thought it was, is kind of horrendous. So he found this lump, went to the doctor, they checked it out, and they said they thought they knew what it was. They sent him to the hospital, and he had various tests done, like blood tests and whatever else, and he also had a sperm count done. That's like the craziest ambulance noise I've ever heard. He had various tests done, and one of them was a sperm test. So he had this done. We went back a couple of weeks later, and they said his sperm count was like crazy low, and they thought they knew what the lump was, and it was a varicocele. It was a varicocele, or a varicocele is rather, a varicose vein in your testicle. So it's basically heating up all of the sperm and killing it off. This sounds horrendous, and I was like, right, so that's it. He's got a really low sperm count. This is why we can't conceive. Maybe it'll happen at some point, but for me, if it's just a low sperm count, then potentially IVF or some other treatment will work, because it's not that we can't conceive, it's just that the chances are so low. So anyway, went through all these things, and eventually they said there was a treatment for it. So he went into hospital, which I will never forget because it was so funny. I mean, it's not funny that he went to hospital, but the story was funny because he went in as a day patient. I sat around and waited for him. Number one, someone came in and examined him. Given that what that means, someone came in, examined him, and left. Someone else came in. No one had any idea who that person was that came in and examined him. Could have been a randomer off the street. Fairly certain it was a doctor, but nobody that he spoke to that day had any idea who it was that came to actually examine him. So that's kind of hilarious. Number two, he had to take his pants off while he was, I'm sure he's going to really appreciate me telling you this story. Had to take his pants off while he was in the bed, and then they moved him to a different bed for him to go and have a procedure. And he said, will I be going back in that bed? Because I want my pants. Because they were nice pants. That's another story that these are just, you know, silver lining things of like what was a horrible day at the time, that kind of make me laugh. And the last thing was, whilst he was having the operation, the anesthesia guy, or the anaesthetist asked him if he had the day of college. And at this point, he was probably 28, 29. So he was looking pretty youthful. Milo has aged him, safe to say. So this was what happened. He went in and he had a platinum coil put somewhere in his abdomen. And then a month later, we had to go back and he did another test and we got the results. And the results were astounding, like absolutely crazy. Loads and loads and loads more sperm. The count, I don't remember the numbers. It's kind of the kind of thing that probably I should remember, but I don't remember the numbers. But let's say it went from something like 10,000 to 10 million or something. It was stupidly different. So basically, in theory, it had fixed the problem. So we went to the hospital, got the test results, came out of the hospital feeling like really, really positive, and someone had smashed our window and stolen our sat nav. Excellent. Outside the hospital. And it is kind of known for that, but you know, you win some, you lose some. That evening, did a pregnancy test. I don't know why, I can't remember, but I was pregnant, and that was it. I couldn't believe it. So within a month of Lee having that operation, I was pregnant, and it had fixed everything, and that was that. And I'd gone through pretty much a year of really, really just thinking, this is not going to happen for me. There's just no way. This is like, we've tried for so many months and it's not going to happen. And it was such a simple thing. And now, even now, I think how far would we have gone into that process before they'd actually found that? Because he found, it wasn't even a huge lump. It was literally like, well, you know, how would you even find a lump like that? It was just an enlarged vein. How would you even notice that? You'd have to be super, super diligent to notice something like that. What if he hadn't noticed it? What if they hadn't, like, they'd have just done the sperm count, they'd have known that. At what point did they consider something like that? Do you actually get physically checked out at some point? That is... Straight away, actually, testing sperm is one of the first things. Yes, testing sperm is something that they do. However, when would they have found out it was a varicocele? Because he had the embolization and that fixed it almost straight away. But had he not said, I feel a lump, would they have found that lump? Would they have gone looking for that being the problem? Is what always kind of plays on my mind. So how many people out there could have a solution so easily and just have absolutely no idea? Because, well, how would they know? That's kind of something that really kind of plays on my mind. If we'd not found that, would they have known? Yeah, totally. More tests for both of us before they would ever have found out. And it was such a simple fix. I mean, Lee's still he's got a bit of platinum in his abdomen forever. So that's fun for him. Right, so that's kind of my story. I know it was like long and rambly. I found the comments really distracting, so we'll maybe do something different next time, or I'll cover them up. But I'm just going to scroll through now and have a little look. Yeah, you're probably right. They probably do scan for lumps, but I don't know. And I've looked actually online in the last few days at, I can't scroll through comments. And the varicocele thing, lots of people try to fix. I mean, it doesn't need to be fixed necessarily, is the thing. Lots of people have them. 8 years, Stacey. Wow. When you say it's your last year of trying, I suppose the thing is, it's not your last year of trying, it's just you're going to accept and move on from there. You're not going to actively try. I don't know how I would have felt when I really resigned myself to, well, it's not going to happen. And especially given that I already had Ella, it was a completely different situation. But I've always wanted to ask this, will you ever have more children? I don't know. I always said no for a really long time, and then at Christmas time, I realised that Milo was getting to the age where we're not necessarily going to have magical Christmases for very much longer. And that is the first time in years that I thought, oh my God, we have to have another baby. because I kind of panicked. We don't have babies in our family, is the thing. This is what I do when I'm waiting for my child in front of school. Chill in the car drinking coffee. Yeah, that's basically it. For those of you asking where I am, I'm outside, come on now. I'm outside Costa because my internet at home is terrible. 5 years between the eldest and the middle one, same story, but we were told when we did have the middle, told it won't happen again. Suffice to say it did, and we had 2 back to back. They just don't know, do they? Tried for 2 years with one, had a loss. Frustrating. Oh wow, so you found me through the embolization video that I made. That's amazing. Oh, I see, Stacey. Right, okay. So you are like really in it trying. It's not just kind of like trying. So you're kind of over it with the procedures and the treatments. I'm with you. That makes more sense. Cheryl, see, that's the thing for me, the adoption thing. Cheryl, for those of you that are watching this later on, has said that she's moved on to adoption. I, for sure, would have moved on to adoption quickly. Like, had it not been, I already had Ella, so it wasn't really, I wasn't so desperate to have another child that I would have put myself through all that. However, if I hadn't been able to have children, 100% I would have adopted. No problem. People feel differently about this, and I think Lee feels differently about this. Whether or not, I think he would have adopted had we not been able to have children and I hadn't had Ella, if it'd been a different life. But he thinks he would struggle to bond with a child that wasn't actually his. I don't at all. I think part of that is because of the experience I had after having Ella. You know, with Ella, I felt like someone had handed me this baby, and I was so small. I was a child. I was 19. I felt like someone had handed me a baby to look after, and I didn't feel like she was my baby. And I think probably it was postpartum depression, really. And I remember seeing a counsellor and stuff. It's all very hazy, but I remember I want to say I loved her. I did love her, but I didn't feel that instant bond. And I think, again, just as with these people that are like, oh, it's so easy to get pregnant, so easy, just, have sex once and you can get pregnant straight away, it's amazing, blah, blah, blah. Just really share your actual experiences with people. It is valuable and it is helpful, and it's not helpful to tell everyone everything's great all the time. And it's not helpful to keep telling people that as soon as you have a baby, it's an instant connection. Oh, you will love that baby so much. Oh, it is like an overwhelming, amazing feeling of love. Right, okay, I get it. That was your experience. But I've started to think that people are just saying that now because they think that that is what it should be. That they think that that's what people think of when they think of having a baby, and that's what they should say because that's what everybody else says. But I don't believe it, because although, even with Milo, obviously I was elated, but I didn't have this like rush of bond like people say. I didn't have that like instant thing. And it made me feel bad. And I think part of the reason I felt so awful was because I've been told so many times, you are going to be overwhelmed with love for this child. And so I think I attribute rather my postnatal depression with Ella with having been told how I would feel and not feeling that way. And so I kind of was a little bit disconnected from her when she was very, very small, probably only for the first couple of months. But I definitely felt like she wasn't really my baby. And because I've had that experience, I think that if you just handed me a baby that was someone else's baby and said, you have to care for this baby, give me a week and that baby would be mine. I don't think I would care at all that that baby wasn't biologically mine. Not even a little bit. Because it's weird because, like I said at the beginning of the video, I'm not a maternal person. I'm not one of those like mothering, maybe I am, I don't know. But I'm not someone that's like, have to do all of the parenty stuff. But I do have something in me. I suppose I am maternal, but not in the way, I'm not mommy blogger maternal. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe again, it's I have seen so much out there telling me what a mom is that I've felt so lacking and like I'm not really that. So I'm not really maternal. I'm not obviously maternal. Maybe that's what it is. Okay. My children would probably say the same thing. But I'm not I don't know. It's a very difficult thing to describe. What I like to describe myself as is a dad. I know that's also a stereotype, but in our roles, I am a dad. So I'm the dad that's like the fun dad. Obviously, I love my kids to pieces, but I'm not the dad that's like, I'm not the dad. I'm not the mom that I feel like everyone expects me to be. And because I also work, I don't know. There's definitely something there that I feel like I'm missing. Don't gush about my kids. Exactly. I'm very sarcastic about my kids, and some people don't really get that. It took me ages to bond with my son. It was hard. Yeah, completely. I think a lot of all of this is what people tell us we should feel and what people tell us should happen, and that is what affects us so deeply. Because even when it comes down to infertility, people tell you it's easy. People get pregnant by accident. All we ever do most of our lives is try not to get pregnant, and so once you get pregnant, it's absolutely beyond you. How is it so difficult? Why is this taking so long? All I've ever wanted to be is not pregnant. Now I want to be pregnant. Why is this so difficult? Why have I been taking all of these many methods of birth control all of these years that I've been told I need, if it's actually so difficult to get pregnant? And I think that between that and the whole thing afterwards with the postnatal depression, all of it is because of what other people have told us and how we feel like we should feel and how we feel like things should go. All of that. Good for you, Edward. Wow, we've got some really weird comments. What birth control am I using right now? Okay, I use the coil now. So this is the second coil that I've had. I had one between Ella and Milo. And the reason that I chose the coil between Ella and Milo was because when you remove the coil, you're fertile immediately. In theory, that was very frustrating. I chose the coil intentionally because I knew once you had it removed, you could have immediate success with being fertile. Great. I had previously used the injection, which again, totally no problem, would have that again, but it's every 3 months. Also, I think that it affected my hormones more. The coil that I have, which is the Marina, doesn't affect me. Well, do you know what? I say that it doesn't affect my mood, or it doesn't affect the rest of me, but when I had it fitted the last time, it was mental. I had the weirdest side effects, strange cramps for about 2 or 3 weeks, and my boobs grew like huge, absolutely huge. I've at least gained another cup size, even once they went down. I think I gained a cup size after the Marina cup, which I'm not arguing with that, but when I'd had it done, I actually had people ask me if I was pregnant, ask me if I'd had a boob job, people that I know. It was very strange, but I also had it was just all physical, strange side effects that I had. Whereas in theory, there's no hormone, so it was very weird. It was just the fact that it was in my uterus that it must have just had a strange effect. Whereas the pill, I'm never going to remember to take a pill every day. I've still got a ton of antibiotics from last week that I haven't taken. I'm going to continue to take them at my own pace, but I'm never going to remember to take a pill every day. I can't rely on that. The injection, 3 months is over in the blink of an eye. I'm not going to remember to even necessarily go to have the injection every 3 months, especially because it's impossible to get an appointment at my doctor. And so the coil was the best thing. Oh, someone mentioned the implant. Basically, it's the same thing. So I have the coil, which is in my uterus, whereas the implant goes in your arm or whatever. I couldn't have it in my arm. I'm a fiddler. If I have something in my teeth or like an ulcer, I'm constantly messing with it. Like if I had something, I'd get it out. I would mess with it to the point where it was out. I can't do that at all. I'm like, I would have to have a cone on my head, that kind of dog. So that's what I use right now, and I would have it again. It was very painful. It's not fun, but yeah. Right, hang on a second. Let me. Oh yeah, fiddle with it occasionally. Just it kind of creeps me out a little bit just to think about it. To be honest, so a lot of you kind of agree about the whole thing of people telling you how things should be or how you should feel over the course of getting pregnant or being pregnant or having had a baby, which I'm not surprised at, to be honest. First few months were so dark and hard. The internet makes you feel like there isn't a place. 100%. Yes, I mean, I definitely 100% think that this new wave of mums that are like realistic mums and we hate our kids and blah blah blah, I know that they got a bad rap last year, but they were needed to balance things out. I follow some mums, one mum that I follow that is just like makes me want to be a better person and also cry a little bit, is called Tarza. She's called Naomi Davis and she blogs at lovetarza.com. And I love her. Love her, love her, love her. Oh my God, we're going to need moderators next time. These comments are crazy. Anyway, she lives in New York and her pictures of her children and just like, oh, the whole thing just makes me feel like I'm failing as a parent. But there's something about her that still makes me like her, that still makes me want to follow her and be involved in that community. Whereas some people are, oh no, I can't even be involved in that. Some people are so sickly, like everything's perfect all the time, amazing. And I can't deal with it. Whereas she's got some weird balance going on where everything looks perfect, but she'll still occasionally throw in the snippet of telling you a story about the kids playing up or whatever. I don't know. There's just something special about her, I think. I feel like I've got a girl crush, a mum crush on Love Tarza. And then there are the people that are like so the other way, like Brummy Mummy, who I love as well, who is more like, here's me in my dressing gown with Sudocrem all over my face. And we have to have those people to balance out those people. We just have to. But I'd like to find myself somewhere in the middle when it comes to what I put out there and tell you more of what is real. Well, because I want to dress up, I want to look nice, I want pictures that look like Tarza's pictures, but some of my life is like Brummy Mummy's pictures. I want somewhere in the middle of that because I don't want to be kind of playing to either side. I want to just tell you this is what my life actually is, rather than trying to make my life seem better or worse to be a certain niche, if you know what I mean. The craziest comments. Some sections of society really do put pressure on mums to be perfect. Agreed. Absolutely attacked for calling my child a little arsehole by the other day. Love my child, but she can be an arsehole. Did you refer to her as an arsehole, or did you call her an arsehole to her face? Because you can't do that in public. That's for at home. Let me see what else I've missed. Start to steer away from... Oh, they go away so quickly. I need to have something where I can read these and not be like constantly scrolling on my screen. Steer away from the mummy bloggers because it makes me feel so inadequate. Louise Pentland. Yeah, do you know what? I'm gonna try Louise Pentland because I wasn't into her content because she was so Zoella-y, which was just never my scene. But I may try Louise now because I think she'd be more my cup of tea now. Speaking of which, oh, this coffee is way too sweet. You didn't call her an arsehole to her face. Well, then what's the problem? Jeez, all children can be complete arseholes. As long as you're not like swearing at them. Referring to them as whatever you want is fine. Although, to be fair, I will say frequently things about my children that it's facetious. I clearly do not hate my children. I'm having a laugh and people take it so seriously. Sunshine and Rainbow vloggers, yeah, totally. And Anna Saccone, I actually met her in real life and she was lovely. Mrs. Meldrum, I've seen something about Mrs. Meldrum and Disney. I think I liked her. On the school run the other day and a mum said, love your hair. Have you had it done? Ooh. Oh no! Husband's off work. I've just had time to straighten it. Oh, that's awkward. That's super awkward. The steering wheel is not on the wrong side. These are the weirdest comments. If next time we're going to have some moderators, I'm going to have a better situation, I might bring my computer into the car so that I can kind of like get rid of people as we go. Louisa's dropped the glitter and now she's much easier to watch. Accidentally referred to my youngest as Satan. Accidentally. Sure. Wench World, excellent. Moderate for me, that would be great. I just wasn't sure whether or not this was going to work for number one. I didn't want to take time away from people and ask them to help me out if this didn't work. But also, how many people would be involved? All kids can be little sods. Absolutely they can. Would I have another baby? Right, okay, so the whole baby thing, because a couple of people have asked that throughout. Not, I was going to say, like, if you asked me last year, 100% no, definitely not. And really, do I want a third child? Do I see 3 children in my future? Probably not. I definitely go through phases where I would like to be pregnant again, and I would like another baby. But I really don't know. I think potentially if I had another baby, please have more babies. Britain has 2. Oh my God. This person needs to be blocked. I don't know how to do that, but 3 children is crazy. Yeah, I don't think I want 3 children. I go through phases where I want another baby and I want to be pregnant. But really, I don't think that I actually want another baby. The last time I was pregnant, for the person that asked if I had good pregnancies, the last time I was pregnant with Milo, I actually had, is it SPD, where your hips, it's horrendous, very painful, but I was going in to have him and I wasn't ready to not be pregnant anymore, which was weird, because I know people talk about like, oh my God, get this baby out of me, but I think because I had it planned, because it was planned C-section, I knew there was an end to it and I just wasn't ready. Bedtime is often my favourite time of the day. Of course it is. Oh my goodness. Milo is going through a phase right now where he is just driving me up the wall, and he's not doing anything on purpose. He's just talking all the time. I don't know where he gets it from, but it's constant. Lee is on the fence as well. We've always definitely said no. And then last year, I think it's because Milo's growing up, and boys are babies for longer anyway. So he's 6, he's been 7 this year. It's not even something we've really considered until in the last 6 months. We've both had little wavers of, oh, maybe. And then we'll go somewhere and we'll hear a screaming baby and we'll be like, let's not do that again. Plus, the house that we've got right now is, we bought a house with my parents. So everyone's got a bedroom. And if we had another baby right now, someone would have to share, which I don't really want to do. Unnecessarily, really, because we don't desperately need to have another baby. Or even desperately want to have another baby. And so, I don't know. In a few years, I feel like I've said to Lee, if we have a baby, another baby, it will be like a novelty baby. I'll be like 40 and we'll have a baby just for fun. Because at that point, we'll have like 2 kids that can help out, and it won't, and then we'll probably regret it massively because we're home free and then we start all over again. But I don't know. Plus, Milo would desperately love a baby to look after, but then by the time I'm 40, probably wouldn't. 7-year age gap. A 7-year-old, a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old. Yeah, that kind of is how it works, isn't it? My dad said no for 14 years and finally said he wanted him and mum to have a third after I turned 18. Yeah, you see, this is how it works. The report button's getting some use at the moment. Yeah, like I've never managed to sustain a live chat on YouTube for all of this time before because my internet at home is so terrible. And so I've never seen all of these like crazies come out with the comments. My main issue with these live chats is like I'm talking to obviously people that are here live right now, but obviously I want this video to be able to sit on my channel and be able to be viewed as a standalone video as well. So I think we're going to try for a different format next time. I think I'm going to do like a half and half situation where the first half I'm talking about something real specific. On the top live stream page, I don't know what that means, to be honest. Yeah, I'm going to do like a separate, so the first part will just be like my video, my regular video, and the second part will just be us chatting. So I think that's kind of going to be my plan. Because I like the chat, but I know that watching it back, having watched other people's lives later, doesn't really make any sense. Maybe ask for questions in advance next time. That's a great idea. Yes. However, if we'd done that, because I couldn't connect my iPad like I wanted to, I still wouldn't have been able to get it. I don't know. The trending page. First time for everything. Hello, those of you that are watching me for the first time, because you found me on some trending page thinking I'm something I'm very much not. What was I going to say? No idea. What we are going to do, since so many of you have joined us today, we're going to do this again next Wednesday. I'm going to call it something about car coffee chat and Kyla. I don't know. Suggest something. But this is a great time for me to do this because it's after school run. I can go and get my coffee, and we can sit in the car park and be stared at by all of the strangers around this little shopping area. And we can do this. Seems to work for some of you. I would imagine there's a few of you like post school run as well. I may do it for like 9:30 just to be safe, because car chats with Kyla is excellent. Hell's bells. I don't know. We'll fix something. Rachel, the infertility story, if you skip to the front, because I believe this is on a delay, you should be able to skip all the way to the front, because I spent a lot of time talking about that, and it will then be on my YouTube page to watch as a video. Working next Wednesday. Okay, well, we're going to be doing this way more often. And if you have not already, well, number one, subscribe if you haven't already subscribed, because I'm going to be asking for you to kind of vote on polls and stuff, and you will only see that if you're actually a subscriber. But also, if you have not joined our Facebook group, if you look on my Facebook, oh, thanks, Edward. I really wanted you to subscribe. That's great. Can't wait to hear from you again. If you've not joined the Facebook group, we've got a Facebook like fan page. But also, which I think was always is linked below, but also we can have, we've got like a private chat room group as well. So I'm so distracted by all the comments now. So we can chat about it over there. So if you've got kind of any specific suggestions even, or if you've got anything you would, anyone that wants to moderate, that kind of thing, we can sort it out. And the chat room is a really nice group anyway, because it's a bunch of people that all want to talk about the same stuff. What I kind of created it for was, well, it was initially for Vlogmas, but how I like to look at it is, I like to think of it as kind of like the anti-gossip sites. So you can chat and you can talk about whatever you want, but it's kind of like a positive space for you to all talk about something that you're all interested in. Share things that are yours if you want to. Talk about, oh, I've seen this, I've seen that. It's not me-centric at all. It's just kind of like a chat room for people that are interested in YouTube, that don't want to lower themselves to go to the chat rooms. Edward can be a moderator. I love that idea, Tracy. Don't want to lower themselves to go into pretty much the only other place on the internet where you can talk about things like that, which are the gossip sites. That is so funny. Yep, Edward, we'll have you as a moderator. Come and join our Facebook group. It's called the chat room. Excellent. When am I going back to Vegas next? Hopefully next year. The plan is, this is going cold now. Might treat myself to another go around the drive-through after this. Yeah, hopefully we can go to Vegas with Emma and Chris next year. That's the plan. We're going to go for like a post 40th birthday treat for Chris. Can't wait. I'm really missing Vegas this year because we went twice last year, which is like ridiculous, I know. I'm really, really missing it. And we're not going to America till October. It will have been almost a full year. We're going to Mallorca in May, which I already can't wait for because I just need some sun. I thought timing wise it would be really good because I can get myself a nice little holiday tan pre-summer. Then we'll have all of summer, and then we're going to Florida on the 31st of October, which is a bit of a crappy time to go because we're going to be traveling on Halloween. And we haven't booked our Disney tickets yet because they're like incredibly expensive. We're going to. Right now we've just booked flights. And yes, we're going on the 31st, but it just kind of means that we're not really going to be able to celebrate Halloween at all because we can't do anything on the day that we get there. It's just not fair. How long did it take to get used to the time zone in Vegas? Do you know what? As an adult, time zone in Vegas is not really a big deal. You're up early is the thing. With the kids, it was an absolute nightmare. Vegas itself, not a problem. Like, I wouldn't say, if you like live in America and you're already kind of on a more similar time zone, Vegas is a great place to take the children. There were tons and tons and tons of things to do with the children. I didn't feel like it was an inappropriate place to take them at all. Lots of stuff that I loved showing them that were not kind of adult only. There was just tons of stuff. I did kind of miss some of the things that we were able to do without the children when we were with them. But the biggest thing was, number one, it was really hot, so it was August, and Milo is like the fairest of them all, so that's really difficult for him because he just wasn't like, he was no good with the heat. But also the time difference really messed us up, really. Mega jet lag in Vegas. As soon as someone says, "Oh, it's 2 a.m. in the UK," I instantly want to go to bed. Yeah, it's way more difficult, and you wouldn't think it was such a big difference. But East Coast, New York, no problem. West Coast, suddenly it's like, ugh. But as an adult, you can just push through it. It's not really a big deal. Coming back, a bit of a nightmare. Disney tickets cheaper nearer the time. We're going in September and I haven't bought them yet. No, unfortunately not. Philly cheesesteaks Club Phoebe, amazing. No, it's not going to be any cheaper to wait. Travel Republic is a great Disney ticket site. Right, I'm going to be looking at some different sites for Disney tickets. So if you guys have got anywhere that you used before that you think is better, let me know. I also am hopefully going to get some cash because Chris and Emma are going to Florida in May. Best time to go to Vegas? Anytime, I would say from April to like June is probably the best time. Kyla has done something like that soon. What did I miss? Tracy? Not doing a Disney dining plan. Too expensive. What was I saying? No idea. Too easily distracted. I think we might wrap it up because it's been 48 minutes. That's long. So I think we might wrap it up now. If you want to vote on recently, not soon. Oh, top 10 hand luggage. I love a hand luggage video. Tons of those. Right, so if you want to vote on the next topic, make sure you are subscribed so that you can do so when the poll comes out in your subscription feed. Also, you can join the Facebook group or like my Facebook page, whatever you want to do. You can see it there, and we'll talk a little bit about what we're going to do ahead of time next time, and maybe get people involved in moderating the comments because that is incredibly distracting. If you want to go back and watch the actual part of the video that this was about, the infertility story at the start, then you can. It will then be available for you on a delay later on. I think it will probably like now upload. I don't remember what happens, but I think that's how it works. But yeah, I will see you guys later. I'm just realizing that I'm not going to know how to end this video. This is going to be super awkward, but I will see you guys later. I will have a regular video for you later on this week, decluttering and cleaning and all that stuff. That's kind of the plan. 50,000 likes. I will see you guys later in the week with a normal video.